Hey there, pirates! Welcome aboard the Anime No Mi channel. Sabo, the fiery revolutionary with dragon scars and a heart of fire, is about to leave everything behind with the Revolutionaries and join the Straw Hats, officially becoming Luffy's brother on the Sunny. Yes, you heard that right, and I'm going to explain everything now. Let's start with the strength of the childhood bonds between Luffy, Ace, and Sabo, bonds that transcend seas, death, and even the choices they made throughout their lives. In chapter 583, after the Marineford War, Sabo recovers lost memories and cries as he remembers that he is Luffy and Ace's brother, vowing to honor their dreams. This moment is crucial because it reinforces the unbreakable bond between the three, who, even with different paths, have always been part of a chosen family driven by the dream of freedom. Sabo, originally a runaway noble who becomes a revolutionary, chapter 794 in Dressrosa, has always carried the fire of freedom, but his role as a revolutionary under Dragon's leadership, chapter 440, his first meeting, creates an internal conflict when he begins to watch Luffy grow as a pirate. In chapter 1085, Sabo risks everything by spying on Imu at the empty throne, a bold act that echoes Luffy's pirate spirit. Here, the theory suggests that Sabo is being pulled into a dilemma between his loyalty to the revolutionary cause and his desire to protect Luffy and honor Ace's legacy. While the revolutionaries aim to overthrow the world government and create a new world, Luffy's vision of absolute freedom and his adventures at sea reflect a rebellious spirit that Sabo cannot ignore. The moment he spies on Imu, a figure symbolizing the government's total oppression, puts him directly in a confrontation not only with governmental power, but also with his own personal journey. The Mera Mera no Mi, the devil fruit inherited from Ace by Sabo, chapter 744, Victory in the Colosseum, represents more than just power. It is a symbol of the flames that burn oppression and of the connection between Sabo and the Straw Hats. Ace's fire, now in Sabo's possession, carries his older brother's legacy, but also reflects Sabo's desire to fight for a fairer world where freedom prevails. When Sabo declares in chapter 803 that he would protect Luffy as Ace would, he suggests that despite being a revolutionary, there is a path where his ideology and piracy can unite. At this moment, Sabo is not just a revolutionary ally, he is a brother who sees the value of freedom in Luffy's adventures, which, unlike the revolutionaries, pursue a world where freedom comes through piracy, laughter, and unbreakable bonds of friendship. It's fun to imagine Sabo with his straw hat and characteristic smile thinking, these revolutionaries are too serious. The Sunny has endless food and laughter, why not? This casual thought from Sabo is more than a joke. It represents how much he misses the lightness and freedom of Luffy's pirate life. The theory suggests that this reflection could be the seed of a transformation in how Sabo sees his mission. He begins to realize that revolution doesn't have to be an endless, serious war. It can also be a more inclusive movement closer to the idea of family that Luffy and Ace always represented to him. In chapter 1150, when Sabo escapes from Mariajois, he shows his pirate cunning and leadership skills, demonstrating that even though he is involved with the revolutionaries, he still carries the pirate spirit forged alongside Luffy and Ace. This escape can be seen as a decisive moment in Sabo's journey, where he once again puts his own vision of freedom above the revolutionaries' guideline. It also reflects the growing tension between his role as an agent of the world government and his loyalty to his brothers. Dragon, focused on a global war, chapter 1097, flashback, would likely disagree with Sabo's choice to follow a more personal path alongside Luffy, creating a split in objectives. Sabo may begin seeking a way to help Luffy while still fighting the world government, but in a way that combines his ideals of freedom with Luffy's. This theory proposes that Sabo's trajectory could culminate in a fusion of his revolutionary ideology with Luffy's piracy. When he reunites with Luffy as a kind of older brother, he might decide to follow Luffy's example and completely leave the formal revolutionary army to form a chaotic, free family, which would be a formidable adversary to the world government. This fusion of revolutionary freedom and pirate freedom creates a narrative where Sabo not only honors Ace's legacy, but also aligns his own path with Luffy's. A world where freedom is key, without constraints, hierarchy, or the limitations imposed by the government. And let's face it, Sabo has always had his heart torn between the revolutionary mission and love for his brothers. In chapter 744, he eats the Mera Mera no Mi to honor Ace, and then uses his newly acquired powers to protect Luffy in Dressrosa. Chapter 751, against Fujitora. This act is symbolic. Sabo not only assumes Ace's legacy, but also positions himself as Luffy's protector, even though he belongs to a radically different movement like the Revolutionaries. The theory frames this as a reflection of his constant internal struggle. On one hand, he has the duty to fight for global freedom alongside Dragon, his revolutionary leader, and Luffy's adoptive father. On the other hand, he cannot ignore the call of the family Luffy represents, with a more immediate freedom, full of laughter and companionship. This duality in Sabo is the central point of the theory. He is a man divided, trying to balance his revolutionary mission with the unbreakable bond with his brothers. When the revolutionaries are engaged in secret and dangerous missions, like in Chapter 1083 with the attack on Mariajois, Sabo finds himself isolated and pressured. At the same time, Luffy and the Straw Hats are an open family, always with room for anyone who wants to be part of it, no matter where they come from. This creates the central tension of the theory. Sabo, though part of a secret and formal organization, feels that the freedom and warmth of Luffy's piracy call him more than the weight of the revolution. In Chapter 1085, Sabo, in a bold gesture, sends crucial information about Imu via Denden Mushi, putting his own life at risk. This act can be seen as an attempt to expose the government and join the Straw Hats more explicitly, breaking away from the rigid revolutionary structure. Here, he is symbolically breaking his chains and moving closer to Luffy, who has always represented the kind of freedom he longs for. However, this puts Sabo on the front lines of the government's hunt, forcing him to go into hiding to protect himself and continue his mission. He could seek refuge with the Straw Hats, forming a deeper alliance with Luffy. The big question is, would Dragon, Luffy's father, approve of this choice? In Chapter 100, Dragon saves Luffy in Logue Town, showing that despite ideological differences, he has a genuine bond with his son. By leaving the revolutionaries, Sabo would symbolically be returning to his home, coming back to his brother Luffy's side, a metaphor for the adopted son returning to the family. However, this change wouldn't be easy. Dragon and the revolutionaries have a more serious and darker view of the world, and their disapproval could create a conflict between revolutionary idealism and the pirate freedom that Luffy represents. Imagine Sabo arriving on the Sunny and saying, "Hey, little brother, I brought some fire for the barbecue and a few secrets that will burn down the government." It's a fun image, but full of meaning. This moment would symbolize Sabo's transformation from revolutionary to true pirate, willing to join forces with Luffy and his friends to fight global threats. Sabo, with his fire both literal and figurative, would be an explosive addition to the crew, with a role far beyond combat. He possesses insider information about the government and the Celestial Dragons, information that could turn the tide in the battle against global oppression. He wouldn't just help in physical fights, he could also act as a spy with access to vital secrets about the government. In Chapter 1115, Vegapunk shares information about the world and the mysteries surrounding it. Sabo, with his experience as a revolutionary and his knowledge of the world government structure, would fit perfectly into Luffy's crew. He would bring not only strength and knowledge, but could also serve as a bridge between the Straw Hats and the revolutionaries, combining the two worlds more harmoniously. In Chapter 1154, in Elbaf, alliances begin to form as new threats emerge. Sabo could jump to Luffy's side to face common enemies like Blackbeard. The growing rivalry between Luffy and Blackbeard, Chapter 1059, is already becoming a central theme in the manga, and Sabo could be one of Luffy's main allies in this final battle. The union of Sabo and Luffy represents not only a brotherly alliance, but also the merging of pirate and revolutionary forces, with both groups confronting the world government and Imu's forces. The idea of Sabo and Luffy fighting together to destroy the oppressive system is extremely powerful. Sabo, with Ace's fire and his revolutionary experience, could be the key to balancing the physical strength and political strategy that the Straw Hats need to overthrow the world government. By joining the Sunny, he brings not only his strength, but also the fighting spirit and sense of freedom that have always defined him. But what about you? What do you think about this? That was today's content. We hope you liked it and want to share your opinion on the subject. Don't forget to share the video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and stay amazing.